Chett Rant coming 19 strong. Turn your lights on. It's like a big strong. 19 strong. We coming 19 strong.
Hi, this is Sherry from the 19 Strong Show.
Hey, this is Chett. How you guys doing?
Well, we were debating on whether we were going to do another opening or not this week, but I think some stuff happened Tuesday that's just too much for you to pass up on.
Yeah, this is actually going to be pretty good. You guys are going to like this.
Well, the fringe element showed up again at City Council, and boy, did they show up. They actually kind of got their way, kind of, sort of. They had decided to postpone, or it was announced that they would postpone the third and final reading, and I don't even really know where the second reading happened.
Man, I don't know either. It probably happened in committee behind two vaults, a locked door, and there were like munchkins outside on guard or something. They were just, shady.
Oh, wow. Yeah, so there was supposed to be a second reading of defining what you do with the park, with Overton Park, specifically in Greensward.
Yeah, no one. That is the great mystery.
Knows how to use the park?
What park is for normally.
Apparently, when you play frisbee, when you do yoga, read a book, tutor in math. They were math tutoring out there, and apparently that's protesting.
I'm almost positive that's where the aliens are going to pick up people for the mothership, too. That's probably what all this is about. Because otherwise, I don't know why there would be such a big stink about people using the park as a park. I can't work it out. I can't. They're out there playing frisbees, having picnics, walking their dogs, and they're having to define how to use the park. I don't get it. Only in Memphis.
Okay, so if you're just now tuning into us for the first time, just a little bit of background. Overton Park is a park here in the center of Memphis. It's kind of like our Central Park, I guess, if you compare it to that. It's actually been previewed or focused on in the PBS's 10 parks that changed the United States. It's protected by the Supreme Court of the United States.
Yeah, a while back, people
71.
tried to 71. People tried to put a highway through there, and the people of Memphis, took it to court, local, and went all the way up to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court upheld the decision not to divide the park. They said it was a protected park, it was historically significant, and so they ruled in favor of the citizens, and they barred anybody from doing development in the park. So
using federal funds to run this highway through it, and this is one of the cases that people cite all the time of citizens, grassroots movements actually defeating government. And this was a federal government issue, and they were able. These citizens, they keep calling themselves like their grandmas got together and fought this, but they did. They fought, and this was just one of those things where the citizens actually won. So it's a monumental case just for citizens in general, for we the people. But so this park has a case. It's got a Supreme Court protection, and yet the Overton Park Conservancy is supposed to oversee the maintenance of the park. It's also got the Brooks Museum in it, and the Memphis Zoo is there as well. And as most people know, the Memphis Zoo is one of the best zoos in the United States, and no one is knocking the zoo itself. The zoo itself is a wonderful facility. It does bring tourism dollars, not as much as they like to say, but they're parking on the Greensward. They're parking on this park that is protected, and for many people who bought property around this park, that was one of the reasons. That was one of the selling points for them. They don't have backyards over there, so they go over to the Greensward, and they spend their days over there.
Well, the stupid part about it is what I can't figure out. I'm a big fan of the zoo too. I mean, I used to halfway live there during the summer, so we've been there a million times. The problem with this is that the zoo is a private company. Memphians don't own the zoo. It's owned by a private corporation, but somehow the city of Memphis ends up giving millions of dollars every year to cover the deficit that the zoo ends up in, inevitably. So I can't figure out how a privately owned corporation is funded by the city that it is located in to the extent that just to increase some revenue, they're going to let you park on a federally protected park. Like, I don't get it. Like, if I owned a, back in the day when people still went and rented Blockbuster videos, if I owned a Blockbuster in Millington and I lost money like it was free, and Millington gave me, $3-4 million a year just because I couldn't manage my money, and then they gave me Walmart's parking lot, that probably pissed Walmart off. You know what I mean? I mean, it's kind of silly that the zoo is a private deal. They could build a garage. They could, shuttle people. There's all kinds of better ideas out there. We're already paying them $4 million a year to be open. Why not put that towards the garage? There's no reason to go over there and jack up the park. I mean, I take my dog to that park. Everybody goes to that park, man. It's not just the people that live right in that area. People come from everywhere to go in that park. And I know there's a few people out there that are going, but it's just a park. Why don't you let them park on it? It's just grass. Well, no, not really, man. This is just another way that the city council, Chamber of Commerce, and whoever else is in the pocket of the local government here in Memphis reaches out and takes what's not theirs. It's just another example of this. I mean, why? It doesn't. The park is owned by the city. The zoo charges people to park there and then keeps the money.
Right.
Really? I mean, if you owned a business and somebody was parking next door and they were, you were charging them to park and you took up all their parking but got to keep their money, that's insane. Nobody in business would even think or see things that way. But somehow the zoo thinks it's perfectly cool, and they're arguing it to lawmakers, all that kind of stuff, that they can park on someone else's property and keep the money they charge for that parking.
Well, it's weird how it's shaping up. We haven't really understood, like you were saying, it was a private company, and it's a private organization, kinda, but it sits on government land. It's weird how it works, and they finally were pressured to release some of the books.
It's not weird, man. Look, somebody on both sides, somebody's getting 2 10s for a 5. That's just how it goes. Somebody's getting paid, and it's somebody's friend that's getting paid. It's not some legitimate guy who worked hard, put his money, invested it, built his company, is doing fine. This is some dude's buddy. It can be on both sides. If anybody's getting paid, it's one of those things to where somebody shuffled them a deal, somebody made some silly little agreement that, okay, man, you come over here and lay this concrete for me for free, and I'll make sure you get hooked up on that. I mean, that's all this stuff is, man. Every bit of it is somebody's hookup. You will not be like ABC tree trimming. That one baffles me. Let's hire everybody from Honduras. The whole country of Honduras can come to Memphis and trim trees because the trees are too dangerous here, and the trees only speak Spanish here, so we need to get people from somewhere else to come cut them, because Lord knows the people who live in South Memphis can only handle rough neighborhoods, not mean trees. They're not brave enough to tackle the angry trees. We learned this from Faison Love on the city council. Berlin Boyd, if you guys don't know who Faison Love is, look Faison Love up. You'll laugh when you see it. But yeah, it's just another one of those examples of the city government, the local government, reaching further than they're allowed to. This is not even an issue that should be delegated to them.
For the people on the benefit side, because I've been asked several times, again, you brought it up already, it's just grass. Well, you know what? That grass is representative of your pension and benefits, because that's federally protected land. It has a court case over it. It went to court. The Supreme Court protected it, and granted, it was a different reasoning. But still, you would think they would learn not to touch the land.
Right.
But and we had an MOU. You guys had an MOU.
Look,
contract.
let me give you one of the best examples ever of giving somebody an inch and them taking a mile. Here we go. Stay with me on this. When Mayor Harrington left office, we, as Memphians, owed the Memphis City school system a debt. When Mayor Harrington left, it was in the bank, so to speak, for the city. It was there. Somehow, when he leaves and Mayor Wharton takes over, the money's gone.
Ta-da!
So that's one time it's been lost. Let me get a camera. One time. I want you guys to keep up with this. So then the city says, okay, we're in a crunch. And instead of it falling on everybody in Memphis, we're going to do what we always do. And we're going to, kick the employees in the two-hole. We're going to get them. We're going to cut your pay 4.6%
Who did that?
for just 1 year. Oh, yeah, this was your Mayor Strickland's brainchild here, who we all thought, well, not we, but who you guys all thought was going to be so much better than Morton. Man, he's just a different color. He might as well be the same dude. So hang tight. He decided to cut the city's, city employees' pay 4.6% for 1 year. That was the deal. We were going to do it for 1 year so we could recoup that debt, and then we were going to all go back. We were all going to do our part. So they collected it the first year. Then they collected it a second year. All right, so now we're at 3. We're at 3 times that the money's been collected. But whoa. If you order now, I got another one for you. Then the city dissolves the school charter, right? So now everybody's part of just one school system, so the debt just vanishes. So
Or doesn't?
that's 4 times the money's been collected. It was never paid to the school system, and the city is still in the red. It's still broke. It had all that money, collected it 4 times, never had to pay the debt, but now they don't have anything. So you tell me, do you let them go ahead and do the little brilliant gentleman handshake things that they say they're going to do? No, because they never do it. Same thing with the City of Memphis employees, especially for the police and fire. After the strike, it was 1978, the employees decided that we would sign something saying we would not strike. We're not allowed to strike per this agreement. And on the city side, what they had agreed to do is if something couldn't be resolved between the employees and the administration, that it would go to mediation,
Impasse. It's the impasse committee.
otherwise known as mediation.
Well, if you look it up on it's impasse.
Anyway, so because we agreed that the city would go to this and we would go to this, and we both would do whatever the impasse committee said, then we wouldn't strike, the city would do the impasse. Okay, so that's a signed agreement. Everybody's liable for this. Well, during this last thing with the pension, benefits, retirement, all that stuff, it went to impasse, and the impasse committee said, no, you have to do this. And the city said, yeah, no, we don't. And they did what they wanted to do anyway. So we still had to abide by the contract that we signed saying, we can't strike. We're not going to do this.
Because they can fire you all.
Right, because they can fire you, all that. But the city, on their side of the exact same contract, was able to go, we don't like that idea. We're going to do what we want to do anyway. And evidently nobody cared because they just, let them do it. I couldn't figure it out. It's just one of those things, man, where they're so used to getting what they want. If they can't get it the right way, they figure out a way around it, and then sometimes they just take it right in front of your face. Don't even try to be shady about it, man. They put it right out there on Front Street. I mean, it might as well read in the commercial appeal. Memphis City Council jacks everyone's wallet. They love it. Because nobody does anything about it. It's insane.
Well, until now. We have a group of people, the people, the pension and benefits people. There's a big difference in us and the Greensward people, because most of us, as pointed out several times by Councilman Ford, don't live in the city of Memphis. We cannot vote. However, the Greensward people chose to live in the city of Memphis near Overton Park to be near Overton Park. They can vote. They're alert. They know what's going on. They know exactly what's happening to their park, and they've pushed back. Well, what did we learn whenever we pushed back? They don't like it.
No, man, they don't like it. Look, and they have the ability because they know. I'm not saying that the people on the city council are idiots. Far from it.
No.
They're a pretty smart group of folks. They know that even the toughest person who wants to come down there and fight is not going to stay around as long as they can drag it out. Mm-hmm. Look, the meetings are on every other Tuesday at 3:30. Okay, so you can't take off work every Tuesday to go down there. You're going to have obligations different parts of the year. You know, everybody works till 5, or if you go in, you work 3 to 11, so you can't be down there. It's free. You don't have time to get down there after you get off. So there's never a crowd of people that's able to stay down there for a long period of time. Everybody goes down there and they storm the Bastille, and they've got pitchforks and torches and all that stuff for about a month, 2 months. And then they know, the council knows all they have to do is wait them out. I've been down there before where they were saying, well, I make a motion to move this to the next meeting.
Yeah, they just kept moving it.
And they voted it down. And somebody said, well, I have an idea. Let's move it to the next meeting. And then they voted that down. And then finally someone stands up and says, oh, I got it. Why don't we move it to the next meeting? And then everybody just stands up, votes it yes, and they all take a bow and leave. I was like, what? How do they just do that? I mean, they just kept putting it off.
And there were 3 people left.
Right, you know, because they had a crowd of people there. They'll remove something off the agenda. If they see more than 9 people in chambers, they'll say, we vote to move item 41 off the agenda until the next blah, blah, blah. Then everybody leaves, and we've seen them before do it. They'll say, I make a motion to bring item blah, blah, back on the agenda for tonight. And we'll vote on it while everybody's gone so we don't get our asses kicked. And that's just exactly what they do. You know, they've done it several times to us, man. As soon as something was removed off the agenda, all the people, the retirees, workers, everybody's like, oh, it sounded like, you know, like Monty Python, and they're like, oh. And then everybody got up and left. And then you could hear the trees breathing outside. There was so few people in there. And then they just looked around like they were checking for runners at first and third. And they were like, yeah, let's bring it back and vote it down while those jokers left. Ha, 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 ha. That's how we lost it, man. You know, they do that kind of stuff all the time.
Same night minutes.
They're so shady. Oh, yeah. Don't let the same night minutes fool you. They just sit around waiting to hit that like they're on Family Feud. They're like, oh, okay. I vote same night minutes. Let's do same night minutes.
Because technically, you have 2 weeks. They approve the minutes at the beginning of the next meeting, so you've got 2 weeks to change your mind. It can go away, and that happened with y'all's. Kim Conrad was doing the employee where you guys, if y'all got in trouble, you couldn't get your raise.
Oh,
and that
yeah.
just went away too. That just disappeared.
Yeah,
right?
he was trying to do some silly stuff where if you had any sort of discipline in your record, then you weren't eligible for raises.
Any discipline.
Well, look, man. Look. That was also a bait tactic. You cannot be a policeman in Memphis arresting crackheads and not have one of them go, he hit me too hard. That's just how they are, man.
Just look at the only club meeting.
I mean, right. You know, there was one club meeting, and it was just, well, I was drunk, and
only had 1 beer. What are you talking about?
They tried to give my wife a piece of paper, and I told them no. And I tried to complain the next day. I was still drunk. And they wouldn't even take my complaint. And the clerk people who fought so long and hard for this were all sitting around like, Jesus Christ, this is the first one we get? Is this? I feel stupid even being here. This dude's drunk now. I don't even know where we're going. You know, it was just ignorant.
Yeah,
and they don't understand. They don't understand. Cops, paramedics, firemen, you're never going to be in that type of job without having some sort of complaint on you. I tell you what, you can tell. If a cop is working, he's got some complaints. The only police officers out there who don't have any kind of complaints in their file are the ones that go to work and take a nap. I promise you, if you're arresting criminals, they're shady individuals anyway, they got no problem lying on you to try to get you in trouble and get themselves out of trouble. That's just what they do. Right. So even if it wasn't true, even if they investigated it and found out it was bogus because you had been charged, they were going to keep you from getting your raises. They knew they weren't going to have to give out but like 2 raises. You know, everybody who sits at a desk would probably get their raise, but anybody, right? Yeah, you know, anybody out in the street, man, wasn't going to get it. So you know, they were going to have to give 4 people total raises after that went through.
It just went away.
Yeah, and it did because it was just.
Well, I mean,
stupid.
no, it just mysteriously went away. They just stopped. So you got to wonder what's coming.
Yeah, anytime they can a bogus idea that's going to hurt the people, you got to wonder what's coming next.
You got your 4.6% back, and then they took our insurance and your.
Yeah, they do that kind of cool stuff all the time. They're like, well, we're going to give you 4.6% back, and we're going to give you a 2% raise. But, by the way, your spouse can't be on your insurance. Your union dues are going up, and we're going to charge you an extra $150 if you want to chew tobacco. We're going to charge. I mean,
next time here, they're going to do a weight thing. That they're going to charge you.
Well, it's going to cost me $1 million a month for insurance then because I've been fat since I was born. I don't know if that's ever going to change. So, you know, it's all workarounds. Anytime they give you something, they figure out a way to take it back. They're never actually out of their pocket anything. And they have to keep that money to give out to all the businesses that are coming so that, Lord Conrad can lease out the apartments and the business is, like he's got the whole
Commerce
top floor
Square.
at One Commerce Square. Old Cushman and Wakefield are making $1 quadrillion a year off, Lord Conrad because he's in charge of all the leasing of this place
Oh,
now.
I like that feudalism thing.
Right,
Like,
yeah.
ooh.
I mean, I don't understand how he sits as the council chairman and is still responsible for leasing out places that the city spends the most money to build and give pilot programs to. And, I mean, they do everything for it. And as soon as the city gets it built, they're like, aha, I'll be in charge of leasing all that out. Don't you worry, I'll take care of it.
So, which brings us to now, Lord Conrad. Just like with us, we pushed back. They didn't like it. They did everything they could to discredit us, call us names, but they had us because most of us don't live in Memphis. So they knew they had us. There was really not much we could do. But again, we've got the Greensward people who can do something, and they are doing something. And I'm so proud of these people. They are not backing down. I mean, Conrad announced at the beginning of this meeting that they were going to move that third reading. Again, we don't know where the second reading went because the first reading happened 2 weeks ago. But he announced, we're going to move it to July 5th. We're going to let mediation take its course. But then he tweeted at the same time. While he's up there, he tweeted, he said, well, we're going to be ready in 2 weeks just in case mediation ends. We're going to be ready. This is how it was always intended. And I was like, oh, no, I scrubbed. No, be ready in 2 weeks. You cannot, because I just felt that he was saying, don't come next meeting.
Man, that's exactly what he was saying. He was going to wait till all the people in the green T-shirts weren't there because he had told them it was going to be. It told them it was going to be a completely other night, and they were going to go ahead and vote it in anyway while there's nobody there to have to answer to.
Yeah, but he tweeted that. He actually said, we're going to be ready in 2 weeks just in case mediation ends, or just in case they decide not to come and they wait till July.
I mean, I know I've said it before, and I know a lot of you guys have seen some of the videos that I put out on YouTube when I was going down there and getting in their two-hole about some stuff. But these guys ran for these positions. Nobody's making them sit up there and listen to it. If you don't want to hear what the citizens have to say, go lease office space somewhere else, man. Don't sit down there where the citizen forum is for them to come and talk to you about what's going on and what they feel should and shouldn't happen. If you don't want to sit there and listen to the citizenry, then don't run for the position. I've never understood it. I work at the fire department. I take 911 calls every day. And when somebody calls and says, I need an ambulance, my baby's not breathing, I don't go, look, ma'am, your time is up, and I'm not helping you with this. That's not something I can do today. I'm sorry. We can't do that. So if you're down here and you're actually, I know it's not a lot of money, but the hookups that you get from being down there is well worth it, trust me. But you're getting paid. You're getting free lunches again.
Wow, yes, free lunches.
You've already look, if you've already eaten your sandwich, you should have to stay the whole time.
Right. They fed you.
You guys, some of them get up and leave, man. I started to think one of them was a ghost. I thought Reed Hedgepeth was like just a ghost or a hologram there for a minute because every time I would look up, he was gone. He would sit down and somebody would say, we're going to award Houston High School with the best basketball team ever award. Here's your award. And before they could even get sit down, Reed was gone. I was like, where the hell is it? What? And he wouldn't come back for the whole meeting. I know. He started off, he had on linen pants, and then he was just gone. And I don't know where he went after that.
So, yeah, this is how it has happened and how it happens every week. But now they got a new group of people. They don't know what to do with them because we're going to show you a clip of one because I'm very proud of this one. But there was one lady who stood up and she said, we are the grandchildren of the ladies who fought the original Supreme Court battle. We're not going away. In fact, you might want to go ahead and build that parking garage because it's going to be cheaper to do that by the time we're finished with you.
Man, they don't care about spending money. They're not spending their money.
Well,
they're spending the taxpayers' money. They tie this up in court for the next 200 years. It just all depends.
And Alan Way will make sure of it.
And it all depends on who wants to get paid from this. I mean, you got to look at the people who own stock or who fund the zoo.
Well,
Man, this
opinions
runs.
are going to come from Alan Way.
This runs deep. And my boy Alan Wade, he don't even know which check to cash because he's getting paid from 79 different spots in the city. And they pay him to sit up there with his feet up and sleep. It's, you know, when people are trying to talk at City Hall.
I'm proud of that picture.
They had to wake him up and go, hey, man, we need a ruling on this. And he was like, yeah, I like cheese. And then goes right back to sleep. I can do that. I don't
Most of the time
understand.
he makes faces at people.
You know, but like I said,
Okay. So this girl, her name is Amy, and she had, her name is not Robin, it's Amy, and she's speaking for a man named Michael, because Michael could not be there, because you know it's 3:30 on a Tuesday. So
yeah, the most convenient time.
So, but I just want you to hear what she has to say, because it's quite interesting. Again, not Robin, Amy.
Amy Gujar, 4143 Hilldale. This is a citizen-led resolution to form a petition to recall Chairman Kemp Conrad in his role as City Council. This was authored by Michael Graber, who very much wishes he could be here today. Whereas Chairman Conrad pushed through a resolution in a questionable time frame with questionable ethics, demanding a vote in March that gives one park entity unfair use of the commons area known as the Greensward. Whereas, after receiving emails and other communications about the issue from citizens he, in theory only, represents, Conrad sent out a form email stating that citizen emails do not help. Whereas Conrad stereotyped his opposition as fringe elements in executive session, and upon realizing that the statement was his Howard Dean's yowl that ended his career in politics, trying to clarify his statement, making the situation worse. Whereas Conrad assumed the authority of a king when explaining the fringe element statement, ascribing
So
guilt.
I'm just gonna stop you right now. We've got the rules that we follow when we address each other are the same rules we expect y'all to follow when you address us about being courteous and civil. You can talk about that on Facebook and social media all you want, but you won't do it in city council chambers. So your time is up. Thank you.
Okay, first of all, she has the constitutional right to speak.
Well, she should not have been up there calling him a scumbag, saying she was going to kick his ass. And oh no, wait, she didn't do any of that. She was just saying, "Hey, we've got this petition for a recall
Right.
because of you called us a fringe element. You told us that we were
Exactly.
stupid, that it wouldn't help. Citizen emails are stupid. Like you forgot you work for the city, bro. These people, you're in super district. These people elect you, and I know you're not running again, and you can't. So it really doesn't matter. You're in your twilight years as a councilman, and so you can just say and do whatever you want, man. But listen, these people live in the Greens ward. Well, not in the Greens ward, but they live out in Evergreen Historic District. These are some people you might bump into at the places you go.
Or at the voting booth.
You know what I mean? So, I mean, it's not like you're talking to somebody who lives almost at the state line down on 3rd and Cessna that you're never going to run into. I mean, you might want to watch how you talk to some of these cats, dude, because you don't just know everybody. You are the council chairman in the second most dangerous city in the country. You run that mouth, sometimes you might run up on a little danger around here, I mean, these people aren't the ones you really want to kind of piss off, bro.
Well, they're not going to, but you never know who you could, because apparently they don't care about running their mouth to anybody. These people are really nice people. They really are. They haven't. I don't believe they've done any of the vandalism they've been accused of. I don't
Man,
believe that at
no,
all.
come
I
on.
don't.
These people, they're real vandals. They stand out on the corner with signs that said, "Hey, let me show you how to park for free,
Oh.
and I'll carry your water."
Oh, guess what else they do? They clean up the park after the zoo patrons leave. All the
Those
litter,
scoundrels.
they clean it up. 'Cause-
How dare
And
they?
when there was vandalism on the zoo sign, guess who cleaned it up? They did. They
Conrad?
wouldn't
No,
even-
it
they
was them.
did.
It wasn't
yeah,
Conrad.
They did. So these are people that are considerate. They're very nice people, but they're willing to fight for what they believe.
Hell, maybe they are a fringe element in Memphis just because they're
They're
nice.
nice.
I mean, that's just
But
they're
you
not
see
used
her
to it.
shirt, they're embracing it. They embrace being the fringe element. And you know what? Police and fire are the fringe element too. Anybody that pushes back, anybody that says what you're doing is wrong, they become fringe element. They become the outliers. But here's the deal with this. Now the news is reporting on this. Because this recall, while they cannot recall for 2 years into his thing, but they can start collecting signatures. It only takes 10%. It takes 10% of the people that showed up to vote. Well, guess what? We had very low voter turnout.
We have 7 people that come vote, so
So it's not going to be that difficult to get the signatures that are needed. And while some people are concerned that if they recall Councilman Conrad, that the council does appoint his replacement until the next election, it still lets you know that people will, they will mobilize. They can do this. It's time for the people to take back their city, and that's kind of what the Greensward stands for. It stands for letting your voice be heard. And I mean, I think it would be great for all of the little groups in Memphis that have each of their different issues to get together with the Greensward people, because the underlying issue is the same. You want your voice to be heard. It's we the people. Yes, it has to do with grass, but it really doesn't.
yeah, if you're a Greensward person and you don't like cops, who cares? If you're a cop and you don't like those people that clean up the park, who cares? If you guys actually mobilize and you put the numbers together, like if you could just get over your shit for each other for a minute and team up, it's almost like 3 cities in a war. You got the biggest city that can beat both of you, and you just look over at the other city and go, hey, bro, let's just take these jokers out, and then we can get back at each other later. I mean, it's just good planning. If you want to take down the giant, a lot of times you got to get the villages together to do it. So if you're out there and you've got a beef with City Hall, whether it was your pension, your insurance, your education, anything you got going, that they've taken, and get on board with these people. The more people they have coming down there and talking about recalls and threatening to do it, man, that's the only thing that bothers these guys. Did you hear him cut her off like she was calling him a scumbag?
And then he blamed Robin.
Yeah, I mean,
He blamed Robin. Robin's like, well, no.
He was talking about all the disrespect and that they have rules they have to follow. They don't have to follow any rules. Did you hear all that garbage Evan Ford was telling everybody when you are not Miss Triplet? You will not come down to my place of work and talk crazy to me. And she's like, I don't know what you mean. It's all your fault. You started it.
No, she didn't.
Right. But he legit said that. He's a grown dude. Talking about you started it and said you don't have the courage to come down here to District 6 and blah, 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 blah. Right. So, yeah, okay. Mutual respect. I got you, bro, but you guys don't do it either. And, it's not like she was up there getting ignorant. She didn't say, you know what, you're going to go to jail and somebody named Brucey is going to tongue punch your fart box. None of that came out of her mouth.
Wow.
All she said was, hey, we got some paperwork because you sent out an email saying we didn't matter and you acted like the supreme ruler, and hey, you're not, bro. That's not disrespectful. That's just the truth.
Exercising her First Amendment rights,
Yeah.
granted about the U.S. Constitution.
I mean, seriously, for some of the crazy crap that I've come down there and said,
You're the reason why they're being 2 minutes. by
well,
the way.
I don't care.
Check out the YouTube channel. You see some really good highlights.
Yeah, all that means is if I ever decide to come back down there and get ignorant, I have to plan it better and make it fit into a 2-minute speech. I got plenty for them. But this is just ignorant. This is just stupid that this woman got shut down because she was talking about something he actually did. He called them the fringe element. Then he tried to backpedal and apologize for it while he was tweeting saying, yeah, none of this shit matters anyway, blah, 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 blah. At the meeting. I mean, come on, man. How ignorant can you be? You can't.
Well, then he doesn't want to give them credit for having their own mind. He blames Robin Spielberger, who ran against him, along with, what was the other guy's name?
Man, I don't know.
Robin came in second, and she's a co-host on the air. And he blamed her in the commercial appeal. And Robin had no clue. I said, hey, why didn't you tell me that you were behind the recall? She said, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you're talking about. So he blamed her. He's thinking that she has gotten together and apparently brainwashed these people. No, they have their own mind. They have their own opinions. They can care about something without someone directing them to do so.
I love some of my favorite people on the planet are people who just can't take responsibility for the stuff they do. No matter what they get said, what they get blamed for, whether they get confronted with, it's always somebody else's fault. Like this, he tried to put this on Robin Spielberger, who had no idea that this was going on. Can't you just see him sitting around, this is all Robin's fault. She ran against me and blah, 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 blah.
Sore loser.
It never once popped in his head that, you know what, these people are attacking me because I'm a greedy douchebag who said some stupid shit about them. That's what happened. That does not even pop into his mind. And that's what happened. These people got pissed off because he called them a fringe element and said that what they're doing wouldn't matter in any way. And so they come down here and it's like, hey, you can't talk to us like that, bro. We're going to recall you. Well, that's somebody's picking on me.
It's Robin. And do you know what Robin was doing last week while he was doing all this? She was trying to help find out where the lead in the water was to better, everybody had better drinking water. Was not trying to recall Kent Conrad. She was trying to find out where the lead in the water was. That's what we've been working on. So to blame her for the recall, you have no one to blame but yourself,
Shit.
sir.
Hey, look, blame me, dude. Yeah, if you just want somebody to blame, I'd much rather you blame me because, Robin didn't have anything to do with it. You just said the wrong stuff to some people who all they're guilty of, man, is caring about their neighborhood.
These are doctors,
in their park.
professors, and these are not. These are people that are very well educated and pay attention. You're not talking about apathetic people. You're talking about the fringe element who, they do care and they're willing to fight for what they care for. They had there's a group of physicians that came together and they spoke at this city hall meeting too, and they've gotten together. Doctors have gotten together to support the park and say you can't take the park away, and this is why. And if you want to see all these, you can check out our YouTube channel. There's a whole Greensward section on there where you can see all the videos from the speakers, and it's just a whole different. I mean, and they're from all walks of life too. I mean, you saw doctors, you saw teachers, you saw homemakers, you just saw everybody. I mean, just a little bit of everyone.
I wonder if there were any cardiologists that came through.
Well, maybe in that group of physicians, there's a neonatal nurse.
Well, we need at least a couple of cardiologists that can get about 11 hearts for transplant, because there's at least 11 councilmen who don't have them. They could just go ahead and put one in there instead of what that black piece of coal they got in there is, put them a heart in there, because they just don't care. Look, you guys are down there, and I understand the park is very important to you, and you have every right in the world to come down there and to defend your park.
Right.
But I'm telling you, if you go back and watch the YouTube videos, you had people bringing their loved ones down front in wheelchairs with crippling illnesses, begging and pleading not to take their insurance away. And they were like, oh, your time's up. Yep, let's just kill him. Take his shit away. I mean, that's just pretty much how they did. They listened to person after person after person after person come down there with real illnesses, real medical problems.
That they got from being on the job.
They got from being a cop for 30 years, being a fireman for 30 years, being a paramedic for 30 years, lifting stretchers. I mean, these guys' backs are blown out, their knees are shot. Usually their lungs are shot from inhaling all that stuff all those years, man. And
OSHA was there.
yeah, I mean, and they were down there saying, look, I gave my entire life to the city. Now I've got this. You can't take my health care away because, I mean, one, I can't afford it. I'm going to die. And they were like, yeah, but the city needs your help. Click, get out. I mean, that's just how they treated it.
Our money, and
You know?
so now
Yeah.
it's your fault.
Yeah. They misappropriated the funds, charged us for it, and then took away everything that we were guaranteed when we got ready to sign up. Listen, for you guys that don't know about the whole pension insurance benefits thing, it's not like they just said to all the new people coming on, hey, when you retire, this is what you're going to get. It's not going to be a pension anymore. It's going to be a Q-B168, whatever.
That we don't have to pay if we don't have to
Whatever
pay.
that stupid shit is that they came up with. And, you're not going to be able to keep your insurance. You're going to have to pay 100% of it with no subsidies if before you're 65. No. These were people that were already retired. They had been living on that pension for maybe a year, maybe 10, maybe 12, 13 years that they've been living on this fixed income. Those people who had already done their part of the agreement, they took their stuff away. They said, yep, we're no longer giving you that.
Councilman Ford even proposed to not pay the pension to people that lived outside of the city limits.
I
He
mean,
didn't throw that out there.
Seriously, I have said it time and time again, and I don't think anybody's listening to me because this just evidently makes so much sense. People can't grasp it. This is what they do, okay? They come out, collect money from you, spend it on the stupidest shit ever. Then when they need more money, they say, well, the city's in a crunch and we need you to pitch in. I'm going to tell my story again because I think it's about as good of a parable as you can tell. If you put your money in a bank and you've been putting your money in that bank and you had a nice big fat checking account, big fat savings account, and the bank gets robbed. Yeah, I don't know either, but let's just say you guys have some money, you know what I'm talking about. You put all your money in the bank Your money's in there, safe. Some people come by and they rob the bank, take every nickel in there. The bank calls you up and says, hey, we're sorry to tell you this, but we've been robbed. So we're going to need you to put all the money you had back in here, plus some, to help us get started. If you actually got that phone call from a bank, would you run down there and replace the money for the bank that got robbed? No, you wouldn't do that. Nobody would do that. But that's what these guys do. They make you pay in. They take everything you put in. They spend it on all this other stuff that doesn't matter. Then they come back and they go, yep, we're going to need you to take a cut in pay and pay us back because we dicked up the money. And everybody just seems to be okay with that.
And then they can't figure out why they have 530 officers that have left and they can't recruit. But they're going to spend a bunch of money doing studies on how to recruit, advertising firms, and so we're on to $500,000 trying to figure out why we can't keep our police and firemen.
But you know
I
what?
got the answer right now for free, for 100% free. Restore the benefits, and then let the Greensward people keep their part.
It's not even about trying to figure out how to recruit. It's not about trying to figure out why people are leaving, because they know all that. You know what that whole research study and the campaign and all that shit's about?
That's what it is.
It's because they know somebody who does research and does advertising, and they wanted to give them some money.
Well, they have gotten the studies back that have been honest with them about it, but of course, they're searching for another firm to tell them something different.
They don't care.
Like the answers that they're getting.
Of course they're searching for another firm. They have to find one that somebody's buddy owns so they can pay them to do the same thing that a nonpartisan
That would
study
give them the
has
answer.
already gotten. They don't care anything about the answers to these questions. They know the answers to these questions. I'm telling you, they know people don't want to come to the second most dangerous city in the world, where when you retire, you get
States.
whatever, United
so
States,
easy.
yeah, you know what I'm saying, though. You come to the second most dangerous city in the country, and when you retire, you get 2 chickens and some baling wire. I mean, nobody is going to come do that, If you were going to get ready to jump out of an airplane and they told you, well, there's a 50-50 chance that by the time you get to the ground, your chute won't open. I mean, you wouldn't go out there and do that. And that's pretty much what they're
you are
telling
putting
you.
your life on the line here.
It's pretty much what they're telling you when you sign up. You're like, hey, guess what? We appreciate you. And if you die, we're going to have a bunch of people say a lot of nice stuff at your funeral. But don't expect shit else, bro. We're not going to pay you. We're not going to pay you if you get killed line of duty. We're not going to pay your spouse. We're not going to give you
Well,
insurance.
they did that now because of
But
Officer
they
Bolton.
took it away,
Yeah.
and then because they were going to look like such jackasses, because right after they took it away, an officer was killed on the job, and they had enough sense to go, hey, we're elected people, we better not do this, or somebody's going to vote
That
us
looks
out.
bad.
So they restored it because they take it away at the wrong time. But I promise you, had we not had an officer pass away, they would have kept that shit too. That's just how they are. They take.
So it looks bad.
From the people who already don't make a lot, man. These are cops and firemen, sanitation workers. It's not like anybody's sitting out on their 90-foot boat on, the lake somewhere drinking Mai Tais. These cats work all year long.
And for those of you just joining this fight and just kind of catching up with everything going on, like the Greensward people that, may not know a lot about ours, he's absolutely correct on, does it make you look bad? Because our first show that we ever did, the 19 Strong Show, was Officer David Booker. David Booker, who I love dearly, I met him through this fight, and he retired, had a thalamic stroke, catastrophic, wasn't even supposed to survive it. Now has the capacity of maybe a 3-4-year-old.
Yeah,
Some days he's more lucid than others, but he really doesn't understand much. But he knows that he loved being a cop, and he still wants to be a cop, and that's kind of what he lives and breathes. And he wants to do everything, honorable for the city. And he went to a city council meeting because he really wanted to. After I met with him and talked to him, and his wife explained to him, and she had never really worked. She'd been a stay-at-home mom, so she didn't have insurance and things to fall back on. So whenever this came down for them, with all of his, illnesses that came with this and all the care that he requires, they were going to lose everything. Literally, she was going to be in the red every month. There was no way. She was going to have to move in with her kids, and they didn't know what they were going to do.
To put a dollar amount on this, what you guys don't understand is for the people who are retirees that are drawing a pension, their insurance premiums went from about $250 a month to legitimately $1,600 a month.
For him
is what they were going to be
his
responsible
$1,600.
for. Living on a fixed income
Right.
now.
And it took him a long time because he did have lucid days they had to fight with Social Security to actually determine he was disabled, because sometimes he would have lucid days. So they had to fight that. So literally their savings was drained very quickly, and they had nothing. And so she brought David up to City Council, the executive committee meeting, and he heard Quentin Robertson, who was the HR director at the time, say that the retirees were draining the coffers, which is not true. There's 15 or 1,600 of them, and all he heard was that he was destroying the city. He loves the city. David Booker guarded Elvis, his body, after he passed away. They trusted him to do that because they knew he was honest. He wouldn't try to make any money.
You know,
off
he
of
was
it.
awarded like Officer of the Year
by
several
Wharton.
times. I mean, this guy wasn't just
He
a
started
regular.
the Neighborhood Watch programs
Right.
from his trunk of his car. He was, and here in Millington, he, coached softball. He was all, everybody
good
knows
dude,
him.
man.
He's a
Really.
really good man. And he starts crying. And it comes from a very genuine place. He starts crying because he doesn't understand. So he goes out in the hallway, and I follow him out. And in front of the elevator, he has this breakdown. And he said, at this time, the media followed us out. Mike Matthews.
Thank you, Mike Matthews.
Thank God for Mike Matthews.
You know what? Mike Matthews is a good dude. He's about the only one left that reports legitimately what's going on around here, man. Because he just,
He put raw footage up
he
there.
did. He didn't try to edit it, make anybody look bad, look worse. He filmed what actually happened. You got to respect that.
And so I was sitting there trying to comfort him and tell him it was going to be okay. And he said then Kim was trying to explain to the cameras what was wrong with him, because not everybody knew that he had this stroke, this catastrophic stroke. And at some point he is going to end up in assisted care, or he's going to end up in a nursing home because he's losing capacity every day. And I hate that. I really do. I hate that for him, and I hate that for Kim.
Yeah, but back to the story. His wife had been down there pleading their case over and over and over and over, and they did her the exact same way they do everybody else. She said, hey, my husband worked for the city. He's had a stroke. He needs his insurance. They said, yep, we don't care. Ding, 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 you're out.
So he has this breakdown in front of the elevator, and we get him in the elevator, and I turn around, and I pretty much blast everybody, because I truly love this family. This is a wonderful family. They did not deserve to be done this way, and he represents the other retirees as well. And I walked away after that. Well, Mike Matthews, being the noble man that he is, went right to the internet and posted it. That video, I believe, has been seen over 200,000 times. But the right person saw it, as in Mayor Wharton saw it, and it was embarrassing. And within 2 hours, that man had insurance.
Yep, it looked bad. And that's all they're ever worried about doing is looking bad.
Somehow they found out, because he worked for Shelby County at one time, that they could somehow do all of that. And Kim was very grateful for the fact that Mayor Wharton did find a way to make this work. But here's the deal, he could have made it work for all of them.
Yeah, before their savings was drained, before they had spent all that money.
Because she'd been calling and he wouldn't return her phone
he was
calls,
entitled to it, whether it was from the county or not.
Right.
They could have found an answer to this man's problem before they almost went bankrupt trying to get him taken care of. And like I said,
within 2
only
hours,
thing that changed everybody's opinion is when that hit the news, they knew it was an election year, and they couldn't look bad on TV.
And what happened after that was we waited downstairs, and Miss Triplett was standing by the thing. She called and she said, "You need to see these people." So immediately, everyone was there. And I got to be honest, because we walked in and Fran wasn't with us, and he said, "Miss Triplett with you?" I said, "No," and he kind of got the sigh of relief. But thank you to Fran for doing that, because the minute David Booker came in and Kim said, we all sat down at the conference table, and we explained the situation. And again, within 2 hours, he had his insurance back. And Kim was, really, she's upset. She's happy that she has her insurance, but she also says that David would not be happy because he knew that 1,599 more don't have their insurance. And he worked with these people. He recruited a lot of the officers and said, you know what, you're going to have these benefits, because they know, for one, you're not going to be able to make a whole bunch of money. We already pay our officers like $11,000 less than the average, and most of them also pay their insurance. Anyway. He promised them, the city will take care of you no matter what. Do you guys know, if you get shot in the line of duty and you have an injury, they only pay your insurance for 3 years?
Yeah, 3 years on the LOD.
So that injury will last you your entire life. You sacrifice that for the city. But after 3 years, they're done with you. We have officers that were shot in the head. The ones had like 6 surgeries.
Let me give you a real-world application for this insurance benefits thing. Do me a favor, and I want you to test how this works the next time you go to a casino. What I want you to do is, I want you to lay down a bet, win the bet, and then the dealer says, yep, nope, not paying you. We changed the rules. When you win, you lose. That's just how we're doing it now. And I want you to go, well, okay, yeah, let's try to bet it again. And then just leave. Promise you that's not going to happen. And that's what they did. They said, okay, you guys have spent 30 years. Here's your pension. 3 years into your pension, guess what? Yeah, we need it more than you do. We don't care that you've got all your illnesses and all that shit. We're taking that back. Sorry. It was done after the deal was finished. It
Changed
wasn't
the rules after the game was over. for the
right.
players.
I mean, that's all of a sudden, you know, you hit a home run in a baseball game at the bottom of the ninth, and then somebody comes out and says, yes, but you didn't kick a field goal, so we're not letting you win. What? I mean, they just completely, not even change the rules of the game, it changed the game completely. These people were already living on a fixed income, had already retired, and then they're going to change it from $200 a month for your insurance. Now you're up to $1,600 a month.
I think before George has $7 left over.
Yeah, I got a
14
buddy
month.
who was a fireman for 30 years.
Blew out both his knees and his back.
Now he's got medical bills, all that kind of stuff. He has to stay on the city's insurance. So after he gets his pension check, they deduct out his insurance. He's got $7 left out of his entire pension check to live on after his insurance comes out. I mean, you tell me, is that not criminal? I just don't understand how some people aren't wearing handcuffs and answering to Big Bubba in the jail over this. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
Criminal to me. So, Greensward, meet pension and benefits. Pension and benefits, meet Greensward. You guys, we have very different actual causes, but really, the underlying problem is the same. It's the people in charge. We don't have a voice. So, I think it's about time that all the people in Memphis get together to figure out how to fight this common foe and gain your voice back.
That's
And
all
we need
they
each
care
other.
about. That's
We
all they
need
care
each
about
other.
is numbers. After we were told, yeah, you guys are never getting your insurance, you're never getting this, they banged the gavel and said it's a done deal. The next council meeting, we had 1,200 people down at City Hall completely circled the building. That creeped them out because normally there's 4 people in there and they didn't know what to do when 1,000+ people showed up,
They
surrounded
smuggled the
City
mayor
Hall.
out with Homeland
The
Security.
mayor had somebody from Homeland Security come pick him up in a Volvo or
And no
something
one was being threatened.
and drive out because they were just intimidated. During that meeting, they were like, well, we said it was over, but it looks like we need to look at this again. And the only reason they did that, man, is because the numbers were there. The police union, the fire union, everybody had begged and fought, and they said, no, this is what we're doing. But when the 1,200 citizens showed up down there and they said, yeah, hey, you're not doing this to us, they backpedaled real quick and said,
That's what
well, we need to look at it
And that's
again,
what happened
maybe.
Tuesday when all those people showed up, they gave them till July. They were trying to get
Yeah.
them to not come.
They're not going to wait till July. Be at the next meeting because they're going to be ready to vote on it if you're not there.
So
That's
guys,
true.
Whether you think we're the same and for benefits people, it's not just a patch of grass. Stop saying it. It's not just a patch of grass. It's your voice. That patch of grass represents everything that is wrong. They're parking on it. That's pretty much it. They're parking on the grass. They're parking on your voice. They're stomping on it.
Well, and then the most important thing to remember is it doesn't matter what the elected officials think is a non-issue. They work for you.
Right.
It matters what you think is an issue. If they think it's stupid, who cares? You're paying them to sit there and work on your behalf. So whether they think it's stupid or not, they work for you. I got bosses, I think they do stupid stuff all the time. But guess what? When they tell you to do it, you got to do it. They're your boss. So, yeah, don't take what they say and don't go in there and cower and bow down and do all that, oh, we can't say anything awful because you're a city council. Man, whatever, dude. He puts his pants on one leg at a time just like everybody else. He ain't no more special than anybody else. His pants cost more, and he gets a free lunch every other Tuesday. That's just it. That's all the cat is. He's not Superman. He's not some lofty person who, resides on a different level than everybody else. He's a balding guy with expensive pants.
We're calling him Chevy Chase.
Yeah, he's Captain Jerry Springer. The guy's been on the Jerry Springer show. You can't walk around and judge anybody if you've been on a baby mama who's the daddy I went out with my cousin and licked her earlobe show. You cannot do that. I mean, the cat was on Springer. Really, bro? You're going to judge people and tell them, oh, they're the fringe element? I'm almost positive. The fringe element is on Springer, not down at the Greensward.
Right.
I mean, come on, man.
So this Saturday, we are going to be talking. It's not just about the Greensward, but it's the recall show. We're going to be talking to Michael Graber, who actually is the one who is starting the recall movement, because Robin is not the one who did it. There is actually a citizen behind the citizen group, and if I ever get to meet Amy, I do want to shake her hand, because that was pretty bold to go up there and confront the man and say, hey, we're going to get rid of you. But it is actually, we're going to actually speak to the person that is actually behind the recall movement, and we're going to get his take on it, on why he wants to do this. And really, guys, no matter what group you're involved in, whatever, any citizen should be paying attention. I preach that all the time. But we all need to be there. We need to support each other. And you know what? Let's all embrace the grass.
Yeah, embrace the grass, man. That's all we're saying. Give the grass.
Let's go protest in the park and play some frisbee.
Give the grass a chance. That's all we're saying. Just give the grass a chance, man.
Oh,
No, I mean, seriously. Come on, man. It's just it's the park. It belongs to the park. You don't need to be parking on it. If somebody tried to roll up and throw a hammock up on one of the monuments, you'd have a problem with that, because that's not
let's
what
go
it's
take the parking lot.
that's not what it's for.
Let's go take the zoo parking lot.
Hey, that'd be pretty good. Everybody, if they're gonna
Let's go play football in the parking lot.
if they're gonna park on the grass, let's go have us a little picnic at the
In the
zoo
parking
parking
lot.
and see if they're gonna come out there and remove us or do whatever. But you Greensward people are too nice. You leave that kind of shit up to me. I'll go down there and act ignorant. You guys,
They are nice. They kind of follow the rules.
yeah, you guys be down there and showing them where the free parking is, and I'll camp out on the parking spot down at the zoo.
They really are nice people, guys. I go hang out with them, because they'll even tutor you in math. They were offering free math tutoring for people, and they.
Those
Wow, I know,
bastards.
right?
How dare they?
Free math tutoring. They were in a poetry contest.
What are they going to do when the kids of the city can understand that the council's cheating them because they can add
Ooh.
properly?
Great job, Eric. Who knew that's what you were really doing?
Yeah, come on, man. This is just ignorant. Don't let these guys do this. Yeah, like Sherry was saying, it doesn't matter what your fight is with the city. You're still fighting the same enemy. I mean, if you guys work together, like I said, get together. Cops, firemen, Greensward, Public Works. Man, if everybody came together on this issue, they wouldn't even stand
Anybody
a
that's
chance.
drinking the water. Still haven't found out where the lead is yet.
Well, yeah, we know they know where the lead is. They found some of it, but they can't tell you where some of it is until they find out where all of it is, because that's just what you do. Apparently, I don't know. Scrooge McDuck has really baffled me on this one.
So, well, anyway, join us Saturday, 1 o'clock, KWAM990.com if you want to see in the studio or on the dial, AM 990. Or you can get the app. We have a KWAM app, or you can go to TuneIn Radio. So there's several ways to listen to us, and we're also on Podbean if you are doing something at 1 o'clock, which we hope you're tuning in, with your app, and if you're hanging out on the Greensward, listen to the app. But we'll also post it on Podbean afterwards. So.
And if you guys are out and about and have a medical emergency or a fire, call me at 911. Ask for the kid. I'll send you some help. That's where I'll be on Saturday.
So until next time, when the next Chett Rant is available, we hope you have a great week, and we'll see you Saturday.
Bye, Shemp.